Hey everybody, welcome to my first mixing tutorial. This one is going to be about a cover I've done, which is linked here below in the description, with the amazing cello player Alexandra Marcu. And we covered Devin Townsend's Supercrush with Anneke. And we've done all the guitar parts, all the vocal parts, and even some of the synths with electric and acoustic cello. So there are a lot of cello tracks here, maybe 50, maybe a bit less, but a lot of them going on. I also played the bass here, and we have drum MIDI from playing from a Superior drummer. So let's hear what we have here first, and then we'll go through the mix, especially through the cello. Alright, yeah, so this is the video. You're welcome to go to the description and see the video. So what do we have here actually? Drums are pretty basic. I won't go through it now. If you want to see it later on another video, just write it in the comments. I will do a video about the drums and bass. But basically just Superior Drummer 3 with the Progressive Foundry drum library. The bass, I played it. It's a Dingwall bass going through dark glass, one clean channel, one distortion channel. So the drums and bass sound together like this. Yeah, it's decent. It's not an album mix, but it worked for this one. More interesting is the cello here, because what we have done here is again taking the cello and doing all sorts of parts which are distorted guitars, female vocals, male vocals, even some growls, extreme vocals. So let's start with the rhythm guitar. I'll just solo it out. Yeah, so as you can hear, it's pretty heavy and pretty tight, and it's again only cello. So let's bypass everything and just hear the cello. Straight from the DI. Yeah, not very exciting. Now let's see what have we done here. So I think almost all guitars here, or maybe all, I mean distorted sounds, are the STL Tone Hub, which I got recently. It's a pretty cool plugin. So I'm using PV6505. As you can see, no mids. Yeah, metal. So just the plugin sounds like this on this patch. So as you can hear, there are a lot of overtones, some squeals, Too much unwanted sounds, and a cello is very difficult to really to play it that clean because the strings are very long and they resonate and there are so many overtones. It's not like playing a guitar, so we did work on the technique, but there are still few more things need to be done, so it will sound like a guitar pretty much. So the first thing before the amp, I'm using the EQ here. As you can see, it's before the insert, cutting a lot of mids, around 800 and 470 hertz, 12 dB. It just cleans up a lot of the cello overwhelming mids. So let's hear it with the EQ and without. Yeah, so as you can hear, when the EQ is engaged, it sounds much tighter. The low end is like actually shorter. There's no mid distorting that much, and it makes everything much more controlled. So after this EQ, I'm using just a bit of it's actually a voice denoiser, but the output from the cello was a bit low, so I had to clean it up a bit between the chugs. So it's not doing much, just cleaning some excessive noise. And there's a bit more EQ here. So yeah, some resonance here at 300. And a small boost here, 95, 96 hertz. So again, without all the cleaning and cuts. And with. Yeah, that sounds much tighter to my ears. And this is the main track. I have duplicated the source and I used another patch of a Bogner Ubershell with the same plugin. There are not so many cuts here, just the same copy of the EQ from the other channel and the same RX voice denoise. This one sounds like this. But together it gives it much more depth and more low end. Yeah, so there's like a lot more weight to the guitar, to the cello. And this is the left side, and the right side is of course the same presets. And on there's another extra guitar here, extra cello, with a bit more cut. Again, it's the same basic preset, and just more cut around 400 just to add some energy in the intro. Yeah. Now let's go to the bus. Let's see what I've done here. So yeah, basic low shelf, just to get rid of some excessive low end. Tiny notch at 150 hertz and a tiny notch in 4K. Okay, then we have this FabFilter Pro Q3. I'll take you to this section because it's automated here. You can see it's only 35%, but it's mainly dynamic EQ, and it's cleaning up a lot from here and makes it work together good with the drums and bass. Yeah, so it sounds, of course, much smaller, but we need a lot of space here because the cello is doing everything, and there's a lot of information here. So we need space for the leads and the vocals and the bass and the drums. So there's a bit more EQ here, pretty subtle, a bit stereo width, some it's mono, everything under 130 is in mono. Small, it's an MS EQ, so there's a small shelf here around 80 hertz, tiny boost around 300, and a tiny cut at around 3K. So let's hear it with and without it. Yeah, and after that we have the track spacer, and there is a key in from the bass drum, bass group, and the lead cello group. And whenever they are playing in between 800 and 8000 hertz, there's a small attenuation going on here just to clean everything up and not make it fight for the high mid, so it won't be that harsh. Yeah, so it's pretty subtle, but it helps everything come out better without being harsh. So this is basically the rhythm guitars. Let's go over to the leads. So again, basic cello DI. Let's bypass everything. The basic cello DI will sound pretty boring in this case. No offense. Yeah, we need it distorted, we need it metal. So again, STL tone hub. The same basic preset, but a different EQ, and I did change a bit the mic position here, so it doesn't fight the rhythm on the same spectrum, and there's some effects here, delay and reverb. They're pretty good actually. So let's hear it out. And of course, before I forgot to mention, I do have some cut on both their exact copies of the channels. I do have some cut here on around 500, really 24 dB notch, and some low cut and some, let's see, 4K and 2.6. That's before the amp. And after the amp, a bit more attenuation. Yeah, because there's so much information coming out of the cellos. Need to do some, you might call it overprocessing, to make it fit. So on the bus, we have the FabFilter Pro Q again, doing a lot of dynamic EQ because there are so many notches and resonances jumping on different notes. So let's hear it with and without the Pro Q3. Yeah, so as you can see, it's very controlled now, much more pleasant to hear actually. And after that, some decapitator, because you must use it in every mix probably. And mainly thickens it up back a bit after the cuts here and makes it stick out a bit more to the front. Then we have some Valhala shimmer because I did try to imitate the original song as much as I can. And Devin is known for, of course, using a lot of effects and layered guitars and whatever. So I knew I had to use this one here. So let's hear it. Beautiful. And then there's a track spacer here again. I think it's getting, yeah, only the cello vocal group here. Whenever the vocal group is playing, again, 800 to here it's 3.5K. There is some attenuation, which makes everything again come out easier without fight for the high mids. And yeah, then we have a bit more pretty important big cut here, a low shelf, 240. A few more probably annoying resonances I had to deal with. So let's hear it with and without. Next part, let's see. Yeah, it's a different part. I think in the original song it's a synth playing this one. But of course we wanted to keep it only cello, and it still had to work with the other leads, and as you can see there are even more channels coming in later. So there is a different EQ again. I guess it's before, yep, it's before the inserts. So this is the way it comes into the distortion plugin. Then I'm using again the same preset. Again, a different miking here. Some different EQ. Yeah, just to make it work with everything, to take up different space. And a few more leads here. Yeah, some overtones also, I think originally played by Synth. Here we played it with a cello, and a lower octave I think is played by a guitar in the original song. Yeah. So this is it so far. Alright, so let's go to the acoustic cello here. So the acoustic cello was recorded with an SM7B, like this one, in this room, which is not optimal for a cello, but I found a pretty decent position, so it sounds pretty good already coming in. So let's just hear it without anything on it. Let's mute the effects also. Alright. So just the main cello part. This is like Anneke's voice. Yeah, so it sounds not bad for one dynamic EQ on a cello in a room that's not fitted for this kind of recording. But inside a mix, there's a lot more to do here. Yeah, not very pleasant sounding or pleasing. So there's some dynamic EQ here, not too much, just killing some, again, resonances, notes that are jumping in certain places, like 3.5K, 700, 800-ish, and 500. And some just tiny basic EQ. And here on the group, there's a bit more. There's more low cut. There's a lot of lows in the cello. A lot of everything actually. But we can't cut everything. Then, of course, a dynamic EQ is evening everything out. So let's hear it. Yeah, so as you can see, especially this 1 to 2K region, it's kind of annoying. So now it's gone, and it's controlling a bit of the low end and some just trying to retain a bit of the highs while also compressing them from time to time. Then it goes to the Acme, which is, I think it's at least the best opto compressor I have. LA2A style. Yeah, so it's pretty subtle, just no more than 3 dBA most of the time. But let's see what goes here with the effects, because I did try to work with it like a vocal channel. So let's start with a delay. Already so much better. It's a basic delay, it sounds good. No bad artifacts, pretty smooth. So I use this one and a bit of EQ after the delay. Then it goes to the reverb, a plate reverb. Both the cello group is going there and the delay. Let's see, we have here the lustrous plates. Yeah, I think it sounds great already. Then we need to widen it up, of course. So I can't really explain why I chose this plugin, but I played around a few and this one worked. There is a bit of delay here and a phase reverse, and it's spreaded, I think. Yeah, it's spreaded pretty wide, and it just makes everything again just wider. A bit phasey, but it's not necessarily bad, especially with the other effects. Pretty subtle. Okay, now this delay works like a kind of like a doubler. It also makes it a bit wider and thicker, actually. Yeah, again, subtle but nice. So all of them together. And maybe even most important, because there's a wall of distortion behind it, there is a parallel distortion here using the Devil Lock. It's cranked up pretty high. So again, I treat it like a vocal. There's a bit of de-essing here just to keep it tamed. And I needed especially the highs, high mids, highs coming out through the guitars. So let's just hear everything with and without a distortion. So again, it's also pretty subtle in the mix, but it keeps it in the middle and it keeps it in the front of the mix, actually. So yeah, there are more harmonies here. They're all going to the same channel, just different EQs and probably lower in volume. Yeah. So this is Anneke's voice in the intro, and this is like her voice, not her voice actually, but cello playing her part. In the first verse. I think it sounds beautiful. Now, as you can hear, this was one of the fun parts here. In the original song, it's Synth playing it again, I think, but we've decided to play it with a cello. So it's like a pizzicato. With a lot of effects, so without anything, sounds again pretty boring. Yeah. So I have here the little altar boy with the formant all the way up and the pitch all the way up, but it makes like to around 50. And with and without it makes a lot of difference. Yeah, then again, some delay, it's the diffuse delay. And more delay. And of course some EQ, because we don't need all the lows here. And here it's just a lower octave on the other side. It's pretty much the same effects going on. Oh no, there is no little altar boy. A different EQ. Now here it's inside the song. Now in the original song, Devin's vocals are coming in, and It's also played with acoustic cello, recorded the same way, but it sounds a bit more harsher because it's Devin's voice. And let's see, I think we have the same EQ here. Yeah. And it goes to the same group. But it's, yeah, as you can see, that Anneke's voice is more tamed than this one. Let's hear it. And of course, we doubled a lot of the so-called vocal tracks. Yeah, so here is basically the same on the second verse, but there is another layer of the pizzicato added, which makes it even cooler. Yeah, same effects. Rhythm guitars here. I see we also probably added a few harmonies. Yeah, and this part, which is just the bow hitting the strings with a snare. What else? Oh yeah. So we're going to the C part. There is a cool effect also playing here. Yeah. So on the like vocals, there are a few layers. One is just playing fast 16ths. Second one is playing the same thing, just with the full notes. I don't know how it's called. And another octave lower. And the even cooler part is this effect. You can hear it subtly in the original song, if you hear it. Sounds really weird, but if you hear it together, yeah, and something very similar to this one here. Sounds aggressive like this, but it works really good together. And again. lot of parts playing here, as you can see. There are the rim guitars on both sides. We added also a guitar in the middle, a cello guitar, whatever. Okay, there's this lead part. Also the vocal and all the harmonies here. So this is one of the reasons I had to go that far with the processing earlier with a truck spacer I showed you. Because it all has to work together and still be pretty clear. Yeah, and last part I will probably show you here is when the C part ends. The original song, again, it's only vocals. We'd have done it here with acoustic cello. So, yeah. Actually, come back here. Yeah. Yeah, so we just have here like 6 voices. This one is like a small effect. There is like an overtone. Yeah. Pretty cool. So there's even no EQ here on the individual channels. But there is pretty much the same effects from the pizzicato, but this time they're in a different order. So we have the diffuser here. Again, the Valhala delay, great delay. And the little altar boy, just changing the format a bit. Let's see how it sounds with and without. Yeah, it's just it's like it spreads it a bit or something like that. And eventually some EQ, of course. So alright, so that's pretty much it. I tried to do it interesting and not too long, but there are a lot of things to cover here. So if you like the video, of course, subscribe, like, all those stuff. Go to my Facebook, to my Instagram page, share, whatever. And if you want me to do more videos or any questions, you're welcome to comment. And thank you.